So you're buying?
Yeah, I'll be buying at the top forever. Right? The maximalists believe Bitcoin's an instrument of economic empowerment. I'm not trying to time in the market.
Hello, YouTube. How are you? My name is Mike. This is Health and Wealth. Thanks so much for joining me today on another episode of my channel. So today I wanted to talk about my plan, what I plan on doing with my money, and we'll see what you plan to do with your money. So as we go along here, think about your own plan. What's your plan? What are you planning on doing with your YieldMax funds, your Curve, your Roundhill, whatever you're invested in? And what is your plan? What are you going to do with that? Are you planning on retiring today, tomorrow, 10 years from now? And how are you going to do that? Let us know in the comments. I think this channel is a good outlet for a lot of people sharing their ideas of what they want to do with their money. And maybe that could help support somebody else that is, new to this, or maybe thinking, I don't know if my plan's going to work out. What is another option for me? So let us know in the comments as we go here what you are planning on doing. And I'm going to share what I want to do. So I've been investing in the stock market for over 4 years now, which is really not that long. And I mean, if I reflect it, it goes all the way back to, man, when was that? 2000 and what year are we in now? Like at least 10 years ago, I invested in Ford as well. And that was pretty amateur. I had taken out a line of credit and just dumped it all, $15,000 into Ford to get that juicy, lucrative, what was it? Like a 10-cent dividend. And then, it didn't work out. Ford just kind of stayed the same. It went down slightly. The dividend was meh, right? And it was quarterly. So I ended up just selling it and then repaying my line of credit. So that was my introduction. And then I came back and bought Apple. You guys know the story. If you've been watching this channel, you know the story. So that was that. March of 2 years ago, YieldMax came out, and I'm sure just slightly before that, but I caught wind of Tesla and I bought that, and I was pretty happy with it until the reverse split. But it's always a thing that we're trying to think of, what's the next step, what's the next best thing. And so for me, I have a solid end road plan here. I think I'm trying to get 6 pillars of income at $500 a piece. And that's Canadian, that's after tax, all of that good stuff. And, so far so good on that task. I've got NVDY, up to 400 shares. And so far, it's paid me just over $500 a month after tax in Canadian funds. And so that's my first pillar. So now I'm going to be working on pillar 2 and pillar 3. I did have a suggestion from one of our great subscribers, just build pillar 2 all the way up and then go to pillar 3, pillar 4, pillar 5, 6. I like that suggestion a lot. I was working towards that, and then I did make a mistake with selling a covered call on MSTY, which kind of brought me back a little bit on that one. So here's what I want to do. So I've got all of my NVDY taken care of. We're done, right? NVDY not investing anymore in NVDY. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it into CONY, and I'm also going to put it into MSTY. Now, my plan with CONY is that I want to get it to, right now it would be about 180 shares because on average it's paying out roughly, give or take here, like $1 a month. And so if I had 180 shares at its current share price, $18 and some odd cents, it could buy me 10 shares a month on drip. And so I'm just pulling it up over on my other screen right now. I want to take a look at its past distributions, and I'm going to share that with you. Let's go here. And you can see here, this last month was a bit of an anomaly. But yeah, $2, and then we got $1.10, $4, $1.57. So you can see it's around the dollar mark, just a little bit higher than $1. So if I have 180 shares, that would buy me roughly, right, give or take here, 10 shares a month. Now, if I had to, set it and forget it, this could be a fun one to do it to. And so if I get it to 10 shares a month on its own, right, and then let it compound on its own every single month using the drip function that Questrade and most brokerages provide, and then just kind of set it there and forget it, right? Come back to it in 5 years, see how it did. Now, of course, I am hands-on, right? And I'm paying attention to this every single day. So if something crazy happens, then we're not going to forget it, but we will set it, right? So we'll set it as soon as we get to those 10 shares. Monthly distributions that will provide 10 shares, right? So for right now, that would be 180 shares, give or take a couple there. But I think that would be a fun thing to do. Watch that compound kind of on its own. So we're going to set it and we're going to forget it. But we'll see how it does. Now, I did do a dividend calculator for both CONY and MSTY. CONY trades from the underlying stock, which is Coinbase. We'll talk a little bit more about Coinbase coming up here at the end of the video. But yeah, so I just kind of popped a few numbers in here. I'll share those numbers with you on this dividend calculator, marketbeat.com. This is a free dividend calculator. It's pretty easy to use as well. So I just popped in CONY up here at the top, individual stock, it says, monthly distribution. And I said yes to the drip, which normally I don't do drip. Normally I like to invest these on my own. And generally on the ex-dividend date, for me, is the best time because that's when the price drops the amount of the distribution. But when the YieldMax pays, it's usually like 3 days after the ex-dividend date. So there's not a lot of share appreciation in that 3 days. So I think with the set it and forget it mindset for CONY and CONY only for me, I think I'm going to be okay with dripping. Now, I've said here number of shares I would start with is 180. Now, that's not true. It's not going to be that. I have 22 shares right now. I'm just going to start adding some money into it to get to this 180. And so the current price is $18.40. I'm putting down $0 after that. No more contributions. I've got the tax rate 15%, which is legit for me. And then it has your initial annual dividend yield 70%. Let's verify that right now. Now, last month was 142%. That is an anomaly. Like we took a look, right? We saw here $2, whereas every other month's $1. So, 70%, let's just say, yeah. And what if it dropped to 50% or 40%? Well, then that would bring down this end number, of course, right? But let's do the pie in the sky. Let's go 70%. Because that seems to be pretty standard for what it's done so far in its brief history in the world. So I've said here just no expected annual dividend increase, no expected annual share price increase. Keep the share price the same. And I just put it in for 5 years. So we're going to see what it compounds to. Remember, this is the set it and forget it mindset. So your end balance would be 68,000. Your total return 1,978%. This sounds amazing, right? And this is in a perfect world. No crashes, no recession, no whatever, right? Perfect world. Bitcoin just keeps going up. CONY keeps doing it. Coinbase keeps grabbing new customers who want to invest in crypto. Perfect world here. No change. And that's not really realistic, but let's play the game, right? So annual dividend income 67,000 after that 5 year. And we'll take a look at down below here at the actual numbers it tells us. And so it says here, there's your first year, there's your 180 shares, right? So that's a few months from now. And I said no annual increase, but now we're dripping. And so you can see each year here, the balance is going up of what you currently own. And then so you can see by year 4 and 5, there's a dramatic change. And as you add more and more shares automatically. So once we get to 180 shares, we as in me, because it's my money, right? Once I get to 180 shares, then the theory is, oh my goodness, the theory is that it's going to buy me 10 shares automatically. The next month, it might buy me another couple. so on and so forth. And then so that compounds like a snowball rolling down a hill. That's the hope and the dream for that one. So I do like the set it and forget it mindset. Now, of course, my mindset won't allow me to forget it, so I will pay attention to it every single month. And so how am I going to get there? Well, I have this $400 coming to me this month from NVDY distribution. I'll have it tomorrow. What I'm going to do, I'm currently at 22 shares of CONY. I'm just going to buy 8 more tomorrow and get it to 30. And I have CONY already set to drip. So CONY, when it pays out next week, is going to go ahead and drip that. So if I have 30 shares, let's just say it pays out $2 again, which who knows, right? That would be $60. It's going to buy me 3 or 4 more shares. Let's say 3 on its own. And then the next month I'll buy 7, equaling 10. And as we go here, and the rest of that $400 that I got from NVDY is going to go over to MSTY, MSTY. Let's talk about MSTY right now. MSTY is an absolute weapon. MSTY has been nothing but incredible. One of the greatest dividend stories of our era, that's for sure. And so, in 8 short months, it's already paid back the initial investment for a lot of people. So when they invested in MSTY from day one, the 2 or 3 people that did that, they paid $20 to get into it. MSTY so far has paid back $24, I believe, in distribution since then. Not only that, MSTY share price itself has gone all the way up to $35 right now from that 20. So you also have share appreciation. Now, a lot of people are jumping on the MSTY train, the hype train right now, and your average price is probably around that $35 mark. So you're thinking to yourself, oh man, it would have been nice to get in at 20, right? With that FOMO. But for me, I'm going to be continuing to buy MSTY with any extra funds I have. So with that CONY purchase, I'm going to be buying 8 shares. And I'll just grab a calculator here. So 8 shares. Let's just pretend it's at 1850. 1852, sure. So that's $148. So I'm gonna have 400 coming to me. 148's leaving me. Bye-bye. So I'll have 252 extra dollars here. And let's just pretend MSTY's $35. So that's gonna buy me 7 shares of MSTY. And so the plan is to get to 180 of CONY. And then the rest of that money that I get from my NVDY and MSTY funds are going to go straight into MSTY. So if I could buy 7 shares of MSTY, let's say it pays out $2, that's not very much, but it's $14 a month. And then every single month that is going to compound a little bit more and more and more. I did a MSTY dividend calculator here. And what I popped into here was my current share count is 100 shares. Wow, it has initial and annual dividend yield of 100%. I mean, right now, that's not lying to us, is it? In fact, right now, the dividend distribution rate is much higher. It's 161%. But I've gone ahead and dropped it down to 100. And I think like the safe mindset is to drop this down to 50, right? Drop it down to 50%, because that's where it seems a lot of these funds may be headed to, especially with volatility. But on that volatility front, MicroStrategy is the most volatile stock on the market right now. So I think 100% is reasonable right now, but it could change for sure. And in my head, the reason I just smiled is because I want to make sure that we all understand that this is how I'm going to be spending my money, not recommendations on how you spend your money. I'm not a financial advisor. You know what I'm about to say. I'm just some guy on YouTube. So if you are taking a YouTuber for their financial advice, stop it right now. Go seek financial help from a financial advisor. I'm here just for entertainment, to share my ideas. If they work out, woohoo! If they don't work out, sucks to be me. We'll start over with another strategy. But I think it's important that you understand that. By the way, now that we've talked about that, tell us again in the comments below, what is your plan with your money? Tell me, are you a dripper? Go all the way. Just write a full comment in there. Tell us what you're doing. I know a lot of people are hands-on right now and they're buying on the ex dividend date, but I think it might be fun just to kind of leave that coney sit there and let it build itself up, and then take all that NVDY money, put it into Misty, take all the Misty money, put it into Misty. And the goal again is to get to $500 each one of those funds every single month, right? So if we can make that happen, things are going to be looking good. But, a lot of things that could be standing in front of us. Let's get back on track with what we're looking at on the screen over here. I put an annual contribution of $12,000 for the next 5 years on Misty. And, how did I get there? Well, if I take that 400 from NVDY, and let's say that's average, right? That would be 4,800 a year. If I can get Misty up above 100 shares to 400 shares, I think that Misty itself will be able to contribute a lot of that rest of that $8,000 in there, especially over the next 10 months coming up here, 12 months coming up here, especially during that time with the Bitcoin bull run that's currently happening. So yeah, we'll see. That's the pie in the sky contribution right there. But remember, this is for 5 years is what I've calculated here. And it says my ending balance is $913,000 or a 1,337% return, which is incredible stuff. This doesn't get me that excited because this is like, throw that line out there. You feel something, all of a sudden you have a whale on the end of your line. That's what this is to me. It's, a little bit unreasonable. I don't really think this is going to happen, but it's fun to look at. Never the less, is that the saying? So here we go, 100 shares I'm starting with, which is true. That's what I'm starting with. And I'm going to just be putting all that NVDY money, all that Misty money back into Misty for, the next little while until I get to at least $500 a month in distributions from it. And, that that might be soon. If this thing keeps paying out $4 a month, that's 100 shares. That's 100 shares will pay me $500 a month. But, I can see there's other months down here, under the $2 mark, there's only 2 out of the last 8 months, but that wouldn't pay me the $400, right? So I definitely need to get my share count up on that one. But I mean, let's just go right to the end here. Shares owned, 10,696. Annual dividend, 380,000 a year. And then you got your drip. If you did the drip, you know what? Let's turn the drip off on this one. Dripping? No. Let's recalculate that. Because on this one, I'm going to be putting my own money in, which is essentially the same thing. It's dripping, but it's slightly different. But still, I mean, look at that. So new balance 63,000, starting at 15,000. So you know what? I'm turning the drip back on. I hope you guys don't mind these videos where I'm kind of just playing it out live with you, but I think it's just an interesting thing to do. And I know you guys do. A lot of you do. That's why you're subscribed to this channel. And by the way, thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you. I got over that 2,000 goal, and we still have, I don't know, how many days? 15 days till Christmas, something like that. So yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm going to have a new goal for my subscriber count by the end of 2025. What do you guys think I should do? What's reasonable? What do we think we can get this channel to? But yeah, I have a goal in mind. I think it's out. It's kind of like this Misty goal, pie in the sky goal. So that's the plan so far. Okay, let's do a recap. I've got the NVDY already there. I'm doing the Coney to 180 shares. I'm going to let it fly from there. Going to get that Misty up to at least $500 a month, every single month consistently, minimum, right? Maybe a little bit more. That'd be good. The next thing I'm doing, and you saw it on the thumbnail coming in here, it's a very, very low and slow and simple and easy goal. It is to buy Bitcoin. Now, this is new for me. I've only been doing it for 2 weeks, and Michael Saylor himself has convinced me to make it happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy Bitcoin, and it's not a lot. All right. It's not a lot. What I'm buying is $100 every 2 weeks of Bitcoin, and I'm doing it right from the Coinbase website, which has been good so far. Coinbase app has been very, very easy to use. And I think that's why I want to put more money into CONY, because Coinbase, the app, has been so simple to use. Now, I've got the Michael Saylor tracker here, and I'll zoom out of it just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. But this, every green dot on here is Michael Saylor's purchases of, oh, wow, that's as far as I can go. That's his purchases of Bitcoin. And so he recently bought more. The chart's not really working out too well for us here. Can we go back more? Can I bring this back here? Hold on one second, you guys. I'm going to do something crazy, maybe if I can. Boom. No, I can't. Well, green dots. Okay, green dots is Michael Saylor buying, which is pretty incredible stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin every single 2 weeks. Right now, I own 0.000417% of a Bitcoin. No big dealer. No big deal. I'm a bit of a baller. I wanted to show you my charts here one more time so you can see just for yourself where I'm at. So NVDY here, I've had it for 8 months. My total investment into it is $11,196. Total dividends received. This is including this new one that's coming out for me, which is tomorrow, $3,510. It's now paid me 31% back of what my initial investment is. And that's in 8 months, so I got to be happy with that. It seems to be going up 4% every single month. That's great. So I have 400 shares. My average price is $27.99. Its current price is a little bit lower than $24.80, and my unrealized loss is 9%. It's unrealized because I haven't sold those shares. With MSTY, I've had it for 6 months. Total investment $3,009. Total dividends so far, 1,277. That should be going up in 2 weeks from now when Group D comes out. Realized return on capital, 19%. The reason it's realized is because I've taken that money and I've put it elsewhere. But I don't want to do it anymore. I want to go ahead and reinvest that money right back into MSTY. And then my average price is $30. It's a little bit above 34 right now. And then I did sell 100 shares a few weeks ago. For a realized return of $800. So that's my MSTY train so far. I'm going to create a new column up here with CONY. And so far I own 22 shares of CONY. Nothing too crazy there, but like I said, we'll do a full recap. At the beginning of this video, I said I'm going to buy more CONY. And so CONY should be able to buy 1 share this week coming up with the drip. So that means I'm going to buy 7 shares with my NVDY money, and the rest of it is going over to MSTY. Okay, so that's the plan, everybody. That's the plan. The plan is to stack. But there is one more thing I need to talk about, all right? And that is the what if. What if the market crashes tomorrow? Are you prepared? Mentally, are you prepared physically? What if your share price drops 50% and it stays down there for the next year, 2 years, or 3 years because of a major crash? What if? I'm not prepared for that. So here's what I'm going to do. It's simple. It's easy. It's not going to hurt me too much. I'm taking 10% from every single distribution and I'm keeping it as cash. It's not a lot, right? You know how much I'm making on NVDY. It was $400. So I'm taking $40. I'm going to put it to cash. I might put it into a lower risk ETF, something in Canada called either HMAX.to or HYLD.to, but they still pay out a monthly dividend. I might put it into those, but 10% is going to cash because I don't know if you knew this, but markets go in cycles. And so I want to be prepared for that cycle and to be able to buy when the market dips. Okay, so yeah, I'll lose a little bit of money here in the next, few months, and who knows, hopefully the next few years I lose a little bit of money, 10%, right? Because this market goes up for a few years, but I think it's better to be prepared than to panic when the inevitable happens. And so that's what my plan is. So share with us what your plan is. Tell everybody, what your plan is, what you've done so far, how successful you've been at your plan. How are you going to meet your goals? I'd love to hear from you in my comments. And I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in and making it this far in the video. My name is Mike. This channel here is Health and Wealth. Thanks for being a loyal subscriber. Have a great day.